I trust this more. So she like combat crawl through the middle of that desk rather than going up those blue stairs. Sometimes she gets a little tripped out. It was this industrial build that we have going on here. Right. All right, Chelsea, chill out now. Launch. Today we have a relaxing day of paint. There we go. So it's all day production paint techniques. Oh, the color from last week. There's a student drop with week. It is. Come relax, Joseph. I have it under S. Right. Student drop. Martin Hall. Today would be Saturday, and this would be the art comp. So yeah, here. Read permissions tonight. I'm having this weird issue today with permissions. I guess it won't kill me. All right, all right, read. No. Nuke. 3, 4. Come relax. Wire, clean, wall, surf. What is it?
Well, when I go into my Finder, it's saying C program files, Adobe Acrobat, PC, Acro Tray, the file and directory is corrupted or unreadable. Like anytime I try to click on anything in my C drive.
Okay. I'll take a look. I'm not ssure. I mean, I'm getting weird permissions myself on my old scripts, which I'm not sure why, what happened, what's up. But let's see. So. Hard to read. And yeah, I just went to M, or the footage on Goliath, so I'm able to pull it in, but the scripts, for whatever reason, are giving me an error. Hi. Are you acting cute with your tongue out?
Perfect view.
Yeah. I can see. So open up Nuke and try to access it through there. I'm having similar, but it says permission. So I'm just trying to open it. Under your seat. Well, I mean, we'll grab laptop or I'll hit him up. But try to open Nuke for a second to see if you can. Yeah.
You wanted 3 filters, right?
Yeah, I really.
Well,
that's fine. But I mean, I still have to go into launch. And then make sure you can read it before shoot good, right?
What? Well, yeah, let's
Okay. Yeah, I also have some issues in new permission. So just try R to read.
This is toned down. And then M is
So we're doing a bunch of different warm-ups. There's going to be basically a simple dust bust, then we'll do a dust bust in a wire, and then we'll also paint in perspective. So a couple different, yes?
It's color space again. The RGB color space instead of
Oh, what are the hotkeys for red, green, blue? Right, R, G, B, A. And remember, it's a toggle. So if you hit R, like when I'm asking you to hit R, just make sure that, R is read down here. R is what? Red channel up here. So location, location, location. Right? So if your cursor dictates all the triggering of hotkeys. So, okay, so here, as I mentioned, paint. So again, we've done roto. That's your default O. You create a shape, bam, close it. The default has alpha only. The legacy was Bezier. Then they came up with this Uber paint node, but people were like, man, now you're throwing too much at us because it was all-in-one paint solution with roto. So you're like, all right, so now I can do this. I can create a roto in here, and it's got RGB plus alpha channel by default. I can start to paint on that. Cool. But it's just too much, right? So they split out roto only, and then there's a roto / paint node as well. And that's what we're into today. So note that by default, again, you can roto and paint the same node. You also, it's also not like Photoshop in that it's not like a bitmap issue. It's a little warm here. Bitmap 80. Inside is 80. It's vector-based paint. And what does that mean? It's a fancy term for meaning it's basically live paint strokes. I have to shout over this, but it's better than sweltering. So as I click on this selection tool, you notice that paint stroke is made up actually of curves, of curve data. And if I further go in here and click on the edit paint selection, I can actually grab individual knots and adjust as my heart desires. And our marquee select. There's our friend the bounding box from the roto exercise, right? Similar modality of working, so this all feels familiar to us now. Again, all the same rules we already learned about roto still apply. Note that these paint stroke lives only on one frame, right? It's lifespan. So by default, when I click on the paint node again, you'll see that it's single, right? Rather than all, or a certain range of frames, right? So paint strokes have lifespans, right? By default. And that's important for today's lesson because we're going to choose, obviously, single frame events to dust bust and consistent paint strokes to build things like clean plates and or, consistent removals, repairs, etc. Everything you do is changeable, editable after the fact. So don't be afraid of stuff. If you mess up, you can always delete it, change its color, its size, its position. So it makes it quite flexible. With that power comes responsibility. Keep it light, right? So if you go crazy and get like 5,000 strokes, you're going to override your RAM at some point in time. So be judicious with your paint strokes, right? Meaning that delete it if it's not legit. There is an erase functionality, but if it's total horse crap, delete it rather than erase over it. Okay. Color, size, again, if you have a Wacom tablet like that one over there, pressure sensitivity will work with anything that's darkly selected, like size, opacity, density, etc. Right? So Wacom tablets will work fantastically out of the gate. That being said, I usually don't deal with them that much. I usually just change opacity on the fly, like, okay, dial it down. Come chill, Chelsea. And scaling my paintbrush, shift modifier, shift. Changing color before preemptively, green. There's a green paint stroke. It's a big soft one. And then purple. This one's going to be a purple. Shift. Left mouse, drag and drop. No, shift and use your mind to evoke size. Shift, left mouse, drag and drop. Right. So shift to the right is bigger, to the left is smaller. Right. If you're Photoshoppers, you're gonna find yourself screwing up things in that you're going to be probably hitting bracket, which will hide the left bracket, will hide the left interface toolset, right? Parentheses, shift will hide the upper tool bracket. So You can turn those off. You can do it by accident if you're using the Photoshop hotkeys to open bracket, close bracket, to close, scale up, scale down your paintbrush. So be aware of that. Okay, so that's both single frame events. Purple, not single, all. Let's make it hard for sake of difference here. And bam, right? So now when I hit play, it's all, right? You'll notice over here, it'll tell you lifespan is all or 39. The color, are they active? Are they inverted? All that fun stuff. Again, that being said, you can be after the fact, change it. That color, not fond of it, let's go red with it or pink with it or whatever, right? And you know what? That size is horrible. Let's go to stroke, brush size, smaller, right? So all this stuff is animatable, editable, changeable, right? It's vector-based paint, which is great. So be aware, you can change all these after the fact. Opacity, look at that. You can animate it on or off over time. Yes? Select. So by default, if you grab on the picker and then have this active, show paint selection. Show paint selection. That's what it's called. And that, for that matter, you can also animate it over time if you want to make flying spaghetti monster movie of giant paint strokes that are flying. It could happen. Could be a next feature. Okay. What else? So that's a basic paint stroke, softness, all the colors apply. Pretty straightforward for default paint. Realistically, probably about like 85 to 90% of our production work is going to be cloning and revealing. Right? We're cloning from the same image. We're revealing from alternate inputs, or the same image offset in time. And you'll make more sense when I actually demo a paint removal, wire removal. Okay. However, much of it is just recycling what we already have. Today we're going to have the luxury of a clean plate, which is going to be fantastic. You know what a clean plate is? Besides what my dog leaves after a morning of delicious eggs, a clean plate. So the idea would be like, we're going to do this. We're going to do this guy, the crow, flying down to thwart evil for only 10 frames input. Right? But he's dusty, his scan is dusty as all hell. And of course, it's movie magic, so it's obviously on a wire. It's not really flying. And there's a big old rig here. And also, we want to change this car, right? Luckily, we have what we call a clean plate. Clean plate is same version. Roll camera, don't move. Roll camera, not move. Take out the rig, take out talent, roll again. You got a clean plate, right? So if you know it doesn't have to be a moving shot. If you're not doing a Michael Bay movie, you're doing a more of a sedate, more locked off motion, maybe moving in post. Take the opportunity to shoot a clean plate. It'll be awesome. Especially if you're doing like a removal, or it's going to be a removal, right? A tracker mark for something else. Okay. All right, so cool. That'll be straightforward. For this though, let me continue with the paint note here. Okay, so that's all things paint. You can change color. Most of this should make sense to you. Note that you're painting an RGB color space. What does that mean? An alpha channel is also being generated. So you can also think outside the box of what I can use this for as a matte or to drive other effects, for example, etc. So just like you can paint, you can also erase. Right? So it's also a vector-based paint stroke, which can happen single frame or all as well. So right now I'm in single, so I'm going to go and erase, 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 and I'm advancing frames and erasing, advancing frames. And look at this, I'm doing art, man. Doing art. Little erase. So that also is a stroke as well. Certainly editable after the fact if need be. Right? Everything is changeable, malleable, affectable, right? Even an erase. So painting, erasing, cloning, and revealing I'll show you on a background plate. Blurring. Don't have too much to blur, but yeah, sure. So there's a blur, as you would indicate. It's softening effect. Single frame, same rules apply, single or all. You can blur, you can do the alternate and sharpen. Sharpen that blur. And my favorite, the finger painting of visual effects, the smear brush, which is like, yeah, now we're talking. Smear it. Yeah, it's pissed off now. Can't. Oh, there. Oh, art. There, right? One frame of art. Did it go away? Here we go. Somewhere. One frame. Where are you at? Oh, calculate it. Calculate it. Think about it. Boom. Right there. One frame of glorious smear. Right? So, realistically, barely use it. I mean, you can predicate it on the fact that you're going to obliterate all the fine detail of grain. So if you're doing a degrain, regrain pipeline, you can get away with it and mush paint around. I mean, it is kind of handy. You can kind of like go, just going to push this out of here a little bit more on the edge. That being said, obviously it obliterates fine detail rapidly like grain. But as a matte, you can have some fun with that, man. If you want to make someone's face freak out, use that as a matte and do an eye distort through it, man. Be disturbingly awesome. All right, so there's all those. And then, because Photoshop, dodging and burning. Almost never, I mean, I've tried it once or twice in production, and it was like, yeah, that was fun, but I'm just going to use a color corrector. I mean, as we talked about last week, Nuke's color corrector and or grade tools are pretty awesome, and you can certainly get the similar result rather than doing a paint articulate brightening or darkening of the image based on Photoshop exposurisms, right? But it's available to try. Okay, so that's a brief, broad overview. Let's throw one on here. So here to paint. Close this out. So this one's pretty subtle. There is realistically just a few dust hits. H spacebar. If I advance in time, dark hit there, and a dust hit. So for all y'all kids, we used to shoot on this thing called film, apparently, right? That had like photochemistry, like chemistry and stuff on it, and it was like acetate, and like it rolled through. You had to process it. It was weird. And when I started the business, it was all film, man. It was all the film scan days. And this was like my entry level job. It's like out of the street, you know, like dust busting, paint, roto paint, and dust busting. So dust busting is literally the negative getting emulsion chunks and dust or hair, slight little imperfections settling on the negative before it gets scanned. So ideally, we try not to have it. Sonically vibrate the dust off, not scratch the negative. That being said, we still get it, sure. It's a photochemical process, it's an organic process. We have to fix digital images, we have to fix CG renders all the same. Don't think that paint is going, oh, now that we're not dealing with, dust busting, it's going away. That being said, like my friend worked on Dunkirk, shot film. It's like, dude, we're painting, we're dust busting, it's awesome. It's like, it's a novelty now. It's like, I want to dust bust Dunkirk, or I worked on Ghost Protocol was shot film on Mission Impossible. Fury shot anamorphic film. So it's still a thing. Quentin Tarantino, he's going to be one of those guys who's going to hold out for film as much as he can. It's got its place. That being said, dust busting and painting skills are pretty universal. So look for imperfections. The cool thing about this is it trains your eye to look for single frame imperfections. And that's kind of comp detail 101, really. So right there, little big chunk there, big chunk here. So a couple of hits. So we're going to go through and knock them out. So for example, I've got this here. If I go clone, a cloning technique, spacebar. Obviously it makes sense to find it. And let's just say it's this one frame here. That one frame. So right now I have a clone brush. What's the offset hotkeys? Control, right? So you see that you have one paint stroke, right? We already established that shift resizes your brush. but Control, hold, left mouse hold, and drag, right? So this offset is now saying that here's my origin. That's the source from what I'm painting from. Whatever is moving is what I'm going to paint through to, right? So I drag it and establish an offset, release, size brush as needed, and then paint as normal. Simple cloning. So it's pretty much Photoshop cloning. The one thing that Photoshop has that I'd love it to rip off would be reflective, like being able to mirror or reflect your cloning techniques. That would be fantastic. Everything else, minus, can't do textures and all that, can't do unique paint brushes. But I mean, realistically, that being said, if you're going to do like an originated of content or make a matte painting, you're probably going to be in Photoshop anyway. For production paint out though, this is what it's focusing on. So this is a great candidate also, but much more difficult, right? It's got all this fine detail. So you want to like look at the image, analyze it, look at the patterns, paint from the same patterns, right? So this case, and I'm going to bump my opacity down a little bit. I'm going to align relative to the same flow of texture, and then subtly ease this out. Do a little bit of this action. Well, the answer is magic. But shift for scale. This is a clone brush. So I'm here. So it's cloning and revealing. And it's shift to resize brush. It's control modifier to establish the offset. So that which is static is what I'm going to pull from. That which is moving is what you're going to paint through to. Establish the offset, release, and continue your paint stroke. Just release the modifier control key, and then before and after. There you go. So control, drag and drop, whatever static is what's going to be pulled from, so that's going to be your source. Whatever's moving is going to be your destination. Release, establish an offset, paint as normal. So reveal. Got a little chunk down here. This is a clone. This is a reveal. Now notice the interface has changed. Reveal needs what? It needs an input. So I can mask things here on the side. This pipe here is for the reveal. So check this out. If I drop a dot and connect this BG1, you're going to note that reveal has a BG1 option, right? Here's the deal. I'm going to paint in time. I'm going to paint in previous consecutive frames. Now, you never want to paint the same frame, like frame one before, because it's going to lock. It's going to have grain lock, right? It's going to be like, oh, look, one frame, your eye is going to catch it. But surprisingly, 2 frames, your eye can't perceive that lock, right? So delta T is a time offset. So if I look 2 frames in the future, 1, 2, animators in the room, anyone's an animator? Anyone? Anyone claim to be an animator? Or want to be an animator? Or are an awesome animator? None? Okay, cool. Well, I'm an animator, old school. Paint cells, man, in my day. Film school, I painted cells. We used onion skinning. The term that I'm looking at right now, onion skinning. What does it mean? Very translucent paper that you can literally see like befores and afters. So you have the same thing in Maya for animation, right? You can see ghosting, right? The keyframe positions before and after. If I toggle this on, you're going to see, okay, look, it might make more sense with the surfer. Here's the 2 positions, right? The surfboard down, his body position slightly different, right? So I'm looking only 2 frames in advance. It's not huge, but it's certainly enough to do this, paint through or reveal. Now notice the iconography is telling you arrow to the tails of shot versus arrows to the heads of shot, meaning that I'm looking 2 frames in the future. I could also look, in this case, 2 frames in the past, -2. Now the arrow points backwards. Brush size accordingly and simply pull through and magic has happened. So literally I looked 2 frames in the previous stack and grabbed it. Same thing here. I'm going to try it in the future. 1, 2, in the future. Onion skin off and on, see if anything drastically changed. Not really. Boom. Reveal. So not even cloning, I'm literally just pulling through the frame, 2 frames previous, duping it and pulling it through as a reveal. Same thing here, reveal. No. Onion skin is only a visualization tool, meaning it's helping you to see, to check alignment. So it's not predicated on the functionality of it, it's an assisting tool for visualization only. Now, you must have something in here. If I broke this pipe, it'd pull through black, right? So you have to, that being said, I can have all sorts of other inputs. Let's say I want to paint this randomly for whatever reason. Drag out another pipe, BG2. I'm currently on BG1. Here's BG2. Boom, right? Whatever's in that pipe is going to get pulled through. Currently, I'm looking at myself, my own stack of images in time. Literally painting in time and space, like Bob Ross on a bad trip. What? You can think of it like a mask because it does have an alpha channel. Right? I am painting in the alpha channel. But realistically, it is just a paint stroke pulling this texture through. Right? And again, if I delete it, it's going to leave a black hole. Right? What does BG mean? That is terminology that we like to use, lots of jargon. BG stands for background. It's also a fantastic band from the 70s, Bee Gees. Amazing. You should watch Saturday Night Fever tonight. That's your homework assignment. No, I'm serious. It's fucking like... Tell by the way I use my walk. Guess what else is going to be locking up the fucking VC tonight, man? I'm telling you, Bee Gees. Amazing. Change your life. All right. Bee Gees. You're like, oh boy. Thanks, man. What'd you learn? I learned about some 70s rock. It was horrible. It's fucking horrible, man. Fucking scarred me for life. That being said, you asked about the Bee Gees. What's FG? Logic indicates would be what? Foreground, right? Foreground, background. What about CU? Close up. MS, medium shot. So you're going to see a lot of jargon if you're going to work in productions, even if you're previs or you're like even in gaming technologies, like we're doing a cinematic. You want to end up in a CU. You might see it in terminology. You might play in a close up. It's a medium shot. It's a WS. It's a wide shot, or it's a LS, a long shot. They're all cinematic terminologies, jargons for frameworks, for camera choice, camera CG or not choices, right? CG or real. All right, so take a little journey, do a little paint. Not terribly difficult, but again, I really want you to focus on the little details. Like, so that right there, you wouldn't really try and clone it because the wave is moving so radically. Be a good candidate for a nice subtle clone. Establish an offset. I'm going to bump my opacity down. Little touchy touch right there. Boom, look at that. Pretty good. Much like you can link tracker data to a roto, which I've showed you with our roto exercise, I can also link paint strokes to a roto. So I'll show tracker as well. That being said, as I tease this constantly, next week will be all things tracking. So we'll do the Uber day of tracking. You'll have 3 different types of tracking exercises: tracking, stabilization, plus a monitor insert with 4-point tracking. Oh, here it is right here. Get rid of this guy. So train your eyes to see these imperfections, do a pass, go through and knock them out, and then we'll move on. Like tears in the rain, man. I'm looking for subtle imperfections. So what am I seeing? I'm seeing white dots. So a negative, if it's a dark speck of dust, for example, is going to manifest itself usually as a white pop. So I'm looking for little white specks typically. There's a little bit, some of these are hard to gauge because it's bubbles. Like, okay, maybe that is or is not. I'll go ahead and knock it out. Right? So I started this business doing dust busting, like old school dust busting. So like I got a restoration work. So I started like my very first gig was doing so I came from lighting and shooting background, model miniatures, and doing all sorts of fun explosive stuff. So make gorgeous models and blow them up at high speed, for fun and profit. Visual effects, old school, analog. And then I started doing paint gigs between. It's like so they had I got to clean up Fantasia, woohoo, the animation cells, right? Then I got to work on film restoration. So I was working on Superman, the original from the 70s, right? So I think it's late 70s, 78 maybe. And I was working on scanning and looking for dust and cleaning up the same kind of process, right? And I'd have to load frames at a time and then paint them out. So I was looking there at a big cool shot of Metropolis, right? And then on one frame I see this black speck. I jump through and load. I'm like, oh look, there's a black speck there, way in the middle of it. It's like, let me paint that out. All right, so I paint it out, and then advance the next frame. It's like, oh, there's another dust buster, right? Another little speck right around there. I paint it out. And then, it's close, but not too far off. There's another speck. So I go through 5 frames of painting it out, and then I jump forward in time and load a bunch of other frames, because at that time it was more of a process. So literally at the end of the shot, it's literally Superman flying from a speck distance all the way up in the beginning of the camera. So I'm painting out Superman like a fucking idiot. But on frame 1, he's a little speck and he's super fast flying at camera. That's the shot. I'm like, fuck, I need to reload those shots. It was horrible. But yes, dust busting. Fucking Superman, little speck, little Metropolis speck way back there. What's that dark speck in the sky? It's a bird, it's a plane. Okay, so do a couple frames of dust. And so let me demo this again. So here's my default cleanup for dust busting. P for paint. So I want to link a tracker data to it. So I'm going to say tracker. And this one's a bit of a challenge, right? Because he gets tubular. He gets a little shadow on his head going right through the wave here. Getting a little rip curl. So I'm going to take my tracker. I'm going to go settings of my tracker. Adjust for luminance. Right? Because there's he does go in from full daylight to shadow. Okay. And he does move around pretty radically. So we'll see. See if we can get it. It's not the most easiest track. So go to my tracker tab, Alt-Control to add it, drop it on his noggin, get a high contrast edge, perhaps like the eyeball. Definitely want to expand your search region and tighten your target region. And let her rip. It's kind of sensitive. It's going though. I'm just gonna show you. I'm gonna put a giant Walmart head on this guy. Yeah, so whatever paint stroke you want to link. Let's just say you want to remove his head. It'll follow it. So you can do one consistent paint stroke, and that will be locked right there. That's correct.
So the stroke will work like that's way curve and it just following the tracking.
Correct. It'll paint curve just like the roto will follow it. Now I lost it here. Let's see if I can get back that mojo. So I'm gonna give it a little helper frame here. So here, you can obviously delete bogus frames if you'll overwrite them as well. And I might recommend just a nudge, single frame. Looks like it's still sticking. Try it again. Let her rip. Boom, boom, boom. Still going. Almost there. Two, 1, 0, boom. There we go. I tracked his head successfully. For a quick test of it, I could go to my transform tab, say stabilize 1 point, hit play, boom. Hide the overlay. Kill all these. Put my cursor over there. Look at that. He's locked down. Look at that. Surfer's been stabilized. So now I'll go ahead and undo that. Transfer none. What I really want to do with this is now just straight up link it to a paint stroke, right? So I'll go to frame 1, for example. Let's see, I started on which frame? Yeah, started on frame 1. Notice that this is zeroed out. I want to preemptively link this before I even paint, right? So I'm going to say this paint roto paint node here, select the root folder, transform to the root folder, control click, drag and drop. Didn't take it. Take it. There. How come no? How come no? Okay, he took it. You changed colors though. Weird. It's not taking it. It's weird. Why not? There we go. That was weird. Finally. Now it took it. So now get in the habit of closing out stuff you're not using. This transform tab has been linked up. I can hop back into my, let me finish my thought, I'll come around. Close out my property, my transform tab. It has the data. Now I'm going to paint into that folder. So everything I create is going to go along with it. Paint stroke. Color picker will also still colors. Check this out. I'm going to grab that canary yellow rash guard there. Hardness 1. Paint stroke, not single, but all. Boom. Oh, it's a horrible color. Let's change it after the fact. Brighter yellow. Have it selected? Here. Redder. More blue. Drop blue. Brighter. More saturation. Let's say it's that. And now when I hit play, got a magic smiley face on the head on there. Everything else, if I put eyes, I put a mouth on there. Everything else, that root folder goes along for the ride. Okay. Sam, what you got? Question?
No.
Did it work out?
Oh yeah. On the cloning brush, how do you soften the edges?
So, if you're using a Wacom tablet, it is pressure sensitivity. If you're using a regular, here's a paint stroke, hardness is 1, that's razor sharp. If it's 0.1, it should be super soft. Right? Red. Delete the last paint stroke. Bigger, and let's just say softness is 0.1. Big, super soft. So if I now preemptively make these black, make my next paint stroke super small, shift modifier, all frames yes, painting with inside this root folder yes, and now make a little eyeball, maybe a little action like that, another little dude here, another little action like that. Right. Both along for the ride. And because I have all these other functionalities, I could go back to things we talked about last week or week 2 with Roto and do things like open spline and click, click, click. Look at that for a smiley face. Marquee, control select. Close this out by select. Marquee select and Z to smooth it. Kind of like that. Brush width, smaller, right? Small, smaller. I could taper the ends. Remember this functionality? I can select this. Can make little tapered corners of the mouth. Lovely. Oops, not bigger, but smaller. Marquee select, or position as needed. Make it black or pink or whatever you want. Yeah, maybe pink. Yeah. A touch more red. Yeah, I'm loving that right there, right? You can also animate these over time, right? So there you go. Select, paint stroke, open spline. Question? Do the link up tracking and all that fun stuff? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're going to do, again, a whole 3 exercises next week if you're not getting it, but I'll quickly demo it again, yeah. Once I get that perfect red. Darker. There we go. So, another example of tracking. One more time. Tracking. Yeah. Not TR here, but tab first. Transform tab, go away. TRA tracker. Select tracker. And then Alt Control, or just simply add it. The big key here is here he moves around a lot on his wave, right? So you want to expand your search region. You can tighten your target region, expand your search region. Recommend going to settings, adjust for luminance changes because of the wave change. Go back to the tracker setting. I'm on frame 50. I'm going to track backwards to the head. And let her rip. So what it's looking, well, what is the tracker doing? It's looking for consistent patterns of an image. It likes things like high contrast, defined edges, over consecutive frames, right? So right now I lost it. So it's looking at that same pattern in that search region. So the next consecutive frame, it's like, where did it go? Is it up to the left, down to the right, and tries to find it. Okay. It's like rocketed out of here really quickly. Go here, adjust, and then track. Track to start or track to end or single frame tracking. Up here. Track forward, track backwards, single frame tracking. So there it lost it. And take it and adjust it. And then I'm going to track on back. So right now, I'm going to pick it up from here. I'm going to track all the way. All right, so there's the next tracker. I'm going to link something new to it. P for paint. I want to link this tracker data of the transforms to here. I can drag and drop, or I can just right mouse click over it, link to tracker 2 currently for my demo purposes, and translate. So now, hop into the roto. Gonna make, I guess I should stay with paint. How about those horns? Whatever the hell that is, I don't know. These are all single frame events. I'm going to change them after the fact to be lifetime. All frames. Change this guy. There you go. He's a bullhead. There you go. Linking to tracker. I'm getting it. Cool. All right, pretty straightforward. All right. Comfy with this? Say hi, Joseph. So far, so good? Anyone have problems? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is show a demonstration piece of painting in perspective with a corner pin. A corner pin, Chelsea. Corner pin. Just keep wagging your toe and tilting your head like a corner pin does. Okay, so we're going to paint a wall in perspective, and the idea is to just build on the idea that, okay, paint is like, okay, well, it's paint, but it's more paint in a comp package. Again, most of what we do is rebuild clean plates or remove stuff. Production removals and fixes stuff like the wire removal we'll do at the end of the day. But you can leverage it for different reasons, like this next example. So that would be painting a wall, a Venice perspective wall. It's called The Wall. Tear down the wall. TIFF, wall TIFF under footage, lessons for footage wall. So I'm going to bring this into a brand new script. The only thing I want you to render out, I haven't looked at your homework yet. Render out is going to be your wire removal, the stuff you're going to do basically. There's also a really challenging one. This one has a clean plate. The really challenging one has none. So you think you're a badass at paint, give it a shot. It's totally doable. I'll show you the techniques of how to get there. But it's a challenging 30 frames because it's legit churning smoke and you really got to pay attention to texture. So the wall. So R to read. Here's our wall. So check this out. So 640 by 480. Okay. As for settings, I want to set my globals. If I don't, your corner pin will be huge, right? I always get this, right? So set your globals. 640 by 480 PC video. So the thing about the paint node is, if I have the paint unattached and throw it to the viewer, it's going to inherit whatever globals the settings are. So if this was back at 2K or 4K or whatever, it'll be that, right?
How do I get my globals to pop up again?
What's the hotkey for changing your settings? S. Settings.
That was the only change that is you swap PC video.
That's correct. So note that if I was going to try and reconcile this paint node with this, they're two totally different sizes. So hence, set your globals. Not just because I want to be a weirdo saying stuff, forcing you to do stuff, but you don't, it will not reconcile one-to-one. So set your globals. Now in perspective, it will paint. Now notice that this is going to be a free-floating paint. So we're not going to be able to clone or anything. We're going to just do paint strokes in perspective. So I'm going to attach this corner pin. Everyone used a corner pin before in Photoshop or other applications? After Effects, Photoshop, corner pin? No? Hell no? All right. And then lastly, let's just merge this paint stroke over. This, shift select that, M to merge, right? So I know you're tired. And then align in perspective. So this is Art School 101, right? Align your vanishing point. Yes.
Will you repeat the selection there with the version? Can I do that?
Yeah, I will do that, replicate one more time. But basically do a little of this action. Now, it's got bounding boxes, and if you're like, I need more information, I'm lost, you can throw on a grid. Tab in a grid. Look at that. Our best friend, the grid. Because why? Because you can really check your lines of convergence. And then once you don't need it, just disable it. Okay, so what I did to merge it. So hierarchically, the mantra you always hear is what? A over B. Predicated on A having what channel embedded in it? Captain America loves to wear it on his uniform. A. Right? You're going to remember this stuff someday. A for alpha channel. Right? This, shift select that. A over B hierarchically. Now when I hit the M key, that hierarchy is still established where the A is over B. A is the alpha dog, Chelsea. A is the alpha dog. Up. Good girl. Okay. A over B. We're able to put pieces together. Yeah. If you set your globals. Hi.
So I'm
If-
thinking in the corner to here.
I guarantee you didn't set your globals. If I go over there and didn't set your globals, you're not going to get a treat. No jerky, no ball, nothing. Set your globals. So check this out. S for settings. If I don't set my globals, the reason why I'm losing my voice, telling you guys all this, set your globals. If I don't do this, and I append a corner pin now, what do you think is going to happen? Hey teacher, I don't see my corner pin. Why? Zoom out. It's out here. Yes. Oh, the hotkey for what? Roto. Oh. Learn it, love it, live it. Mm-hmm. Oh, what does the corner pin do? What's the function of a corner pin? Anyone? So I don't have to talk. Anyone? Anyone want to fancy a guess? No one's used a corner pin before? Come on. No. Corner pin is to adjust a shearing effect, right? So what does that mean? Like in perspective, my monitor in perspective is bigger here, smaller here. It's shearing down. I can go 0.1, 2, 3, 4, and corner pin shear it and pinch it in perspective. So it's like the total perfect go-to for what? Monitor inserts, alignment to walls, sides of buses going by, license plates. Oh, what? I'm doing an insert of my cell phone. Hello, who is it? It's the enemy. It's the antagonist. Oh gosh, I hate that person. It's like everything you want to have here, right? Corner pin. You guys use corner pin, right? No?
Oh, no.
Corner pins? No?
My corner pin is there, but it's acting funny.
No! All right, so one more time. Chelsea, why no corner pins? Tilt your head. Corner pins. All right. If you set your globals correctly, now watch when I set my globals correctly to the proper size of video, then replicate the same behavior. Corner pin. Oh, look, it's right at the corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. If I initiate my grid in here and then grab and shear and position, don't be afraid of the corner pin. It feels like you're on Teflon skating with ice skates. Like, I'm going all over the place. I can't control. Relax. It's not going to break, right? Adjust, align, and drop. Right? Just want to adjust these lines of convergence. It's literally like art school 101, or hopefully matte painting perspectives and alignment of your lines of convergence. It's just to create perspective. But literally, I mean, as I mentioned, all those inserts, any kind of thing you're going to have, like you want to fake something in the line of perspective on a road, on a wall, on a monitor that's sideways or has a slight shear to it, corner pin's going to be your go-to. It's pretty ubiquitous. Yes?
Sorry, I'm just probably going to ask a question
Oh, was there a question or no?
No.
Oh, you sure? Okay. So corner pin. Everyone get this, or anyone need help? You good? Okay, so it's working. So again, the only reason why I'm doing this is this. So check this out. So I'm going to turn off my grid. So now when I evoke my paint node, I'm going to grab a brush. Check out my brush. In perspective, it's now skewing, right? Trippy, right? I can literally like giant perspective adjustment and smaller, right? So literally you can paint in perspective and it will start to calculate that. So just one of many little variances because you're in a broader ecosystem of a compositing package, right? So so for example, I mean I can choose whatever color I want, but I'll pick California Poppy Orange. Bam. Now note that it doesn't have an alpha channel, so that'll be an issue, but we'll make it work. Also, I want this to not be single, but all. And I'm going to paint in perspective. Check me out, man. Boom, here I go. Paint in perspective. Woo-hoo. Paint in perspective. Yeah.
How did you color pick? Was it
Control, the hotkey is right on it. It has a little tooltip that says control, left mouse click to sample a color. Boom, boom.
And you're working straight on the roll paint, right?
I'm currently in RotoPaint and painting. Now, why does this look transparent? Because the alpha channel is 0. Why? Well, because accurately, the plate has no alpha channel. The color is perfect California Poppy Orange. With an alpha channel, it should look like that, right? There's my paint stroke on all the frames.
I think I missed a setting somewhere because I can't paint in color. I can only paint in white.
Well, I mean, you could jump in here and choose the crayons or grab the color wheel, or what I did was grab the color picker and control click on an image, and now it's going to be blue.
That's what I'm doing.
And now it's going to be this.
Clicking and color picking, and it still just paints in white.
Do you have RGB plus alpha channel on?
In RotoPaint?
Yeah, in the RotoPaint, in the channel outputs. Yes, no, move this up.
I have RGBA. I just put RGB.
All right, I'll swing by.
Or maybe it's some colors already got some.
What is it?
I don't pass it.
Chelsea, why white paint? Why? Let's go figure it out. Because you're cloning. You want to not be cloning, you want to be paintbrush. Because by definition, your clone and your reveal has to be in your input pipe. If there's nothing in your input pipe, you will paint nothing in clone. Okay, you have a paint stroke. This. So you have to initiate it by clicking on the color picker. That's the color wheel. The color chip, right adjacent to it. Nope, you were there. That's your color wheel. That's the color picker. See, eyeball dropper. Look, Photoshop ism, right? Just get it. Trip it. Trip him up. Good girl.
She doesn't buy one at that time.
Get it? It better be good. How can you get a head that big? Be ludicrous. I believe they just did warping it, like taking, scaling it, and warping the whole thing. I mean, you could track it. What? Yeah, you see the one where he's got a body, the big body, the big muscle body. That could be your homework, man. Shoot an unsuspecting coworker or here. Yes. So that's your color chip. So any of these colors are available. Also click on the color crayon. Any of those as well. Now the color picker specifically is that chip to the left of it. That, yeah. Now control click on any color. Control click. You grab the blue. Yep. Cool. And then to make alpha channel, close this out. Where are you painting that? Okay, so sample it using this. Paint more time. Or that's not show. So right now now, the only thing is you don't have alpha channel on, give it a value of 1. So 1 means fully okay. There you go. You got it.
You have to set that each time.
Only because you're sampling the background plane. So it's literally as accurate as it can be. Because there's no alpha channel in the plate, there is viable color. One way you can overwrite that is by whatever reason you can just make an alpha channel. You know, putting a shuffle, solid white alpha channel. Right. But again, how do you remember how do you make the channel opaque? Opacity one. Let me do it for the whole class one more time so you guys get it. Yes. Same question.
Yes, it is because I do have
Okay.
yeah, I do have the set.
So you're talking about compartment?
Yeah, like it's not, it's doing that. I'm not sure why.
Alright, so. Need it and book new work. What is it? It's way stretch. There it is. My guess is if you try to do it after the fact, you don't do it before, it kind of just F it up a little bit.
So what does it really do? Mass substitute if you wanted to.
You can paint it as a mask, so if you work with flame guys, they're all about painting the mask. But Roto, if you go to the socket, you put it with a paint mask, and you can track it in all the
So you plug in photos to this color folder.
Yes. Name on the photo or pull through. Yeah. Next one. Yeah, let me ask you the whole class. So if you're color picking and it's transparent, why do you think it's transparent? No alpha channel, get it. So how do you embed an alpha channel? So right now the software is correct. The image has no alpha channel in it. I get it, right? It's like you're telling me what to do. Select this and get a color. So let's just say I want this lovely turmeric yellow. There it is. Now that color has no alpha channel in that plate, right? I just embedded the other paint stroke to have an alpha channel. If I paint with it, hey, why is it bright and transparent? It's got no alpha channel. If I go back to this paint stroke, oh, it's got a very slight one. I can give it a solidly opaque alpha channel. Exactly. Oh, exactly the hotkey for Roto. Oh, but it's accurate, right? It's saying if I select this plate, there is no alpha channel in it. How can I change this? How can I add an alpha channel to something? Here's a good one for you. There's a number of different ways. I'm going to show you all of them because that's how I roll. Double click on it. Check out this, the most easiest way. Auto alpha. That's a new one, right? Auto alpha. Or channel, add, you guessed it, alpha, solidly white. There's 2. Not 1, not 2, 3. 3 whole ways. Shuffle, solidly white alpha channel. Now when I select this reddish California poppy and paint with it, yeah, solidly opaque, right? There you go. It's doing it for a reason. It's doing it exactly what it's being told to do. Extract all those colors, including alpha channel. The alpha channel has no value in it. It's solidly black. So it paints in transparency by choice because that's what it does. Okay, so yeah, painting in. Sorry, I've been effing up my whole thing here. Let me show you one last time because I'm demoing it for you all. Yes. Paint. Here, yes, you see this painting perspective. If anyone tried a masking technique in Photoshop or After Effects and all that fun stuff, kind of hard, right? Check this out. Paint stroke. Right on start, right on end. If I go to frame 1, take this back. Look what's happening. Oh man, look at that. It's like Attack of the Killer Ghost. Check this out. Right mouse click, set keyframe, go to the end, boom. The ghost tagger, man, right there. Instant right on effect. Yeah, caught me in action. Yeah, sure. Up. No, okay. So all I'm doing is, just think of it as binary, on and off. 0 is your start, 1 is your end. So you can start in the middle and go about both ways. You can start from the end to the beginning to the end, and literally just animating a stroke. So let me do another one. New color. Deep blue. It has to be all frames, right? Boom. Kind of a purple. All right, so there it is. No effect yet. Right? Start on 0, start on end. I'll do it from the. I'll do it backwards now. Right? I'll go here. Yeah, do it backwards. Set keyframe. Right? Go to 1. There you go. Feel free to write your name in cursive and animate it on. So again, yes, you can use it. Obviously, can you use this as a mask? Well, the question would be, why? If I disable this, yes, indeed, you've got the ability to mask in perspective with a paint stroke. Yep. To just a cheap way to put append an alpha channel. I turned it off because I don't really need it now. Just the easy way. I could either, obviously, I showed you how to change it after the fact by just giving it a 0 to 1 value, or preemptively embedding an alpha channel in there. Don't really need it for anything other than just a color picking selection. Because I'm not really intending this to go over anything else, right? It's a standalone. Everyone get this? Everyone good? It's 8:15. Does anyone need a break? Not maybe so. Let me show you where we're heading next, and then I'll give you a break. All right. So here, new comp, and we'll come back and we're going to hit it. Okay. So it's going to be the default paint stroke called Wire 1 and Wire 1 Clean. R2 read, Wire 1 and Wire 1 Clean open. Marquee select, L to lay them out. Here's the beginning, here's the clean. S for settings, NTSC 72046, right? Bam. Boom to boom. So the goal is this. I'm gonna bump up some gamma. We're gonna set up a paint stroke in a clone capacity and or reveal, because we can reveal through. So notice if I go, I'm going to set this up where I'm going to say clean versus wire and toggle between the two. Why? Because okay, I can reveal right through to that and paint that one out. Advance in time, right there. I can go back to my clean plane and pull that through and it'll reveal. Totally easy, right? So we're going to go through, paint all those hits out, paint this as a consistent paint stroke out, paint out this rig, but there's a catch. What is it? The tree. Well, the cloud we're going to do is consistent pull, but the tree, for whatever reason, between takes went back to his trailer and said, "Fuck it, I'm out. It's too cold. Fuck it, I'm just too cold, man. I can't go out." So whatever reason, that's a different tree, right? So we're going to be stuck doing a more articulate paint. We're going to have to recreate this new reality of this tree. We're going to do as much as we can pull out here, done. But up to here, we have to recreate all this detail. So I'm going to show, how do I pull through texture and kind of rebuild this new reality. Now, we have one thing at our disposal, and that is the audience has never seen this tree. We have. right? It has no personal relationship with the tree and say, oh, this branch is, not that thick or thicker or whatever, right? So we'll make it happen, right? So I'll demo that as well. All right, so take a quick 10 break and we'll come back and hit it. Just okay, it's break time. I can play with you. Let's go throw the ball around. Yeah. So where's the ball? Thrower. Good. What's it? Let's see. About everyone here. There you go. 76 degrees. Okay. All right, so the old paint node. So we're going to select this. P for paint.
Yeah, which files are we?
Oh, so we're looking at wire 1 and wire 1 clean. So R to read. So, and wire 1 clean. So lessons for footage, this and that. And open. So yeah, the one question was also about additional masking. So I just throw this here and do this. If I, again, like all things Nuke, based on Roto, if I initiate a Roto, all things including paint will also be masked. So you can, mask an edge like you would a painted house, right? So if you want to hold it off in a certain area, that's one way of doing it, right? So if you want to be, I can't quite be that accurate on my paint stroke. You can literally mask a paint stroke as well. All right, here, delete. Okay, so for us, the other side is this, BG1. So that's going to be our reveal edge here. So it might be to your benefit to say 1 looks at the paint node and 2 looks at the clean plate. Right, so you can hop back and forth pretty quickly. So H to fit, spacebar up. So here's the first candidate right here. If I hop back and forth, I mean, you get the idea. Reveal is really easy. All you got to do is pull straight through. So shift to resize paintbrush. Oops, it'd help to not be in there, but a reveal. And delete that paint stroke. Come on. Boom. And, find them and kill them. Just totally, boom, take them all out. All right, here. Search and destroy dust. Boom. Out in the sky, dust. So there's some pretty subtle ones as well. Like that. So,
is 003 the
so I'm painting on wire. So obviously here, the iconography of the node is that the top is the input, the bottom is the output. Okay, this is your mask channel, and then the second you plug this in, it reveals, oh, you could also BG1, BG2, BG3, etc. on the left. What's the purpose of this? Revealing. So up pipe is to wire 1. Wire 1 clean is obviously the reveal BG1. This versus that. So advancing and finding any dust. So obviously on frame 9, I can use the same technique, yes? Reveal to the clean plate. Yeah. It's going to leave a mark, right? Can't really do it there, right? So what do I have to do? Or clone. Reveal we just did. Reveal punches through the background. So reveal background, right? Looks to this. Control Z. Clone, it pulls from the same image and pulls similar patterns of texture, right? So up here, almost the same colors and values of the uniform. So again, control modifier, drag and establish an offset, release, shift select to size my paintbrush, and adjust. Look at that. How easy is that? Bam, pretty easy. Find similar patterns of texture and value and pull it from one side of the image to the other in a clone capacity, single frame. So a couple more dust hits, but I'm almost there. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Right in here somewhere. There it is. These two. Okay. Going back to reveal. Got that one. Got that one. Let's see. H to fit, L to play forward. Hide by paint brush by collapsing it. Spacebar to blow up the interface.
Clone stroke, you did no stays for that frame, right?
Clone brush did what?
Clone stroke, no stays, the frame doesn't. It's only for one frame, right? Clone stroke.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue. I mean, sometimes students will do it. I'm like, you got to reveal, and it's a totally clean plate. You don't need to do that. But yes, reveal through everything, including that little guy right there. And then, yeah, I only cloned the chest thus far. Thus far. Where's this little guy? Right there. Pink. So search and destroy. Find all your, use your eye. Hone your eye in to find all the little imperfections. Pretty good.
Is there an easy way to cap your frame count? So I'm like stuck with 50. And
Yeah, set your globals. That's why I say it in the beginning of class. It's 10 frames, right? So here's some good shortcuts. Let's just say you're in a 100 frame setup, and you're getting this action. You place 10, and it's like, okay, hold frame, please hold. You're like, okay, all right? Here's a quick and dirty way to kind of eyeball how many frames you have. Input. Flip it to input, and it shows me only the 10 frames of what I'm attached to. And then you can go, oh, guess what? I'm only 10 frames. If my globals haven't catched it yet, I can now set it to 10. And when I flip back to global, I'm good to go.
a quick question for when you were protoing out the dust cover. You took the clone stamp and you just went like frame by frame and took them out?
Reveal brush, not clone. Why? Because reveal is looking for what? At the clean plate, right? I mean, I could, but why? Because I've got this at my beck and call with alternate clean patterns and good to go, right? So I did not clone, reveal. The only cloning I did was on his chest on frame 9.
Is there ever a reason that you should like, if you have like a super clean backplate, should you still try and like keep changes as minimal as possible so that it makes the brush super small and is it not?
Yeah, totally. I mean, always the case to make it the least evasive fix possible. Like leave as much of the original plate as you can. Sometimes, not always the case. Okay. Everyone good? Everyone get this? Pretty straightforward with the power of the clean plate, right? Just shoot it and you're good to go. Now, what about the rest of this stuff? I can do a reveal. Looking back to this, like I can do this whole patch. And I could articulately paint it, but I'm going to save that for the last part. I mean, you don't really need to. Let's just say we're fine with this. We can't do one consistent paint stroke for the rope above his head because why? His head would travel through it. You know? So we need to do frame by frame process for this, but the first one's going to be not single, but all. It's going to be a larger paint stroke. It's going to be a reveal, which it already is. And I just do this. Bring this whole patch of smoke from the other plate back over.
How did you go to alternate today?
It's at the top of the paint stroke in the middle. All single, range, or end, beginning, end, etc. Here. and paint stroke a little smaller. And I'm gonna take out this little guy. So that one consistent paint stroke just takes that whole patch from above. Now, articulate 10 frames, I'm going to have to chase it every frame. So scale down my paintbrush. Notice that it's pretty transparent. So you can see it moving at speed, but it's kind of hard to gauge where it is. Right? So I go to frame 1, adjust my paint stroke. Don't clip his head, but get pretty close. Advance frame. Adjust all the way down, advance frame. Paint all the way down.
What's the left part next to it?
The arrows to the right and left are going to go to the heads and tails of shots. So forward and back.
And we still training with all, right? All frames?
What's that?
We're still working with all frames, right?
I hope not. Oh, fuck, you're right.
Yeah.
Damn, nice catch. Now, this is why you can't. Right there, right? So you see his head getting obliterated? Now, if I knew the exact frames, I could tell it to change it, but fuck it, it's pretty easy, right? So I am going to take all these buggers and kill them. So the question is, let's see if I can track these guys down. So select all, and then I do, here's how I know where my last one is. Check this out, 1, 2, 3. I literally can track down my paint stroke. So that was my last big paint stroke. All the rest of these, oops, here. These guys have to go. Like I could kind of figure it out and tell it each frame, but fuck it, I'm just gonna select it and delete it. And do it again really quickly with, you're correct, reveal, not all, single. For that very obvious visual demonstration, you'll patch a static hole that his head will blast through. So it's pretty low res. It has some interesting challenges, but it's totally doable. Now, frame 8, I believe it lines perfectly with the mortar edge, and you're like, I painted it out. It's still there. But again, it's just a brick mortar edge. So, yes, for the obvious reasons I just showed you, you have to do it. Each frame, 10 frames, but pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I think this is hard. I did a 933 frame paint out. 933 frames.
Do you have to do it this way each one?
Some of it, yeah. A lot of it, yeah. It's for the end of that fantastic Harrison Ford movie K-19, The Widowmaker. Classic. End of the movie, helicopter shot, 180 degree pull out, revealing a big old submarine in the middle of supposed to be in the middle of the Atlantic. They want everything out, all the mountains in the background to go away. They're middle of the ocean. Also has a giant rope, like one of these big white ropes like this on the deck, rolling off the submarine. Had to paint and remove that whole thing for like 933 frames. Paint and patch, track stuff in, then remove it. Then roto sailors walking back on top of it. It was pretty gnarly.
Is that a good paint job doing that?
Is it a good paint job or paying job? I mean, back in the day it wasn't bad. I mean, I don't know starting out. I think starting out when I started, it was like maybe $19 an hour off the street for like I know no skills, train me. But I don't know the going paint rate, stuff like that. I mean, it's I don't know what the current rate is yet now. Realistically, like if you get really good at paint, it's like some shit just has to be painted, and it's like, I mean, I got really good when I was doing it. And I had friends who'd be like, "Oh yeah, you need a head replaced? Yeah, this is just I'll just paint it, and rebuild it, like frame by frame, shit like that, And I've had shots like that where like, oh yeah, the head clipped off as one, just rebuild it, Use other existing footage and just rebuild it, and it's doable. Like if you just get really good at it, yeah, you can rebuild whole realities.
How long did it take to finish all this?
Yeah, it was funny because like no one else in the company wanted to do it. They're like, fuck that. All these people on Flames are like, I could key it. Good, there's a hole in your shot. Cool. how about fixing it, removing it? Oh, okay, cool. It took me, so all right, so I'll do it. I'm the junior fucker here. I'll do it. And I don't want to work on any other shot. And I'm probably going to need maybe 2 weeks to do it, and they're like, yeah, just do it. I started going and showing progress. Because again, everyone's like, this fucking sucks. I can't do it. And they're like, I started to like, just, again, it's patience and just like grind through it. And I got it. It took like a little less than 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half. I mean, I got pretty good results, but the problem was like, it's a metallic object and you're rolling around it, so the reflectance angle is constantly changing. So like if I had a clean patch, it would slowly like change value. Like it's like slightly more brighter stuff as you go around on the sun angle. So like everything I would track on and fix it and stuff like that would also have to be animated and all this shit. It was pretty hard. It was pretty fucking hard. And it just takes forever. I mean, it's all kind of doable. It just takes a lot of patience and consistent work. But I mean. It's one of those things you get really good at, and it's like I did a lot of wire work for a show I supervised as well. I mean, we had a team doing it, and then we also hired other companies to work on it. But it's kind of, I don't know, it doesn't bug me. It's all fun work, It's all the same kind of challenges and stuff. But yeah, totally doable. All right, so top rig gone, individual wires with the head gone. I could pull this through. I'll start with that. So I'll go clone, and not single but all, and here to here. So I'll get some of this here, and this is a comp patch. But from here on, let's just say obviously I'm going to go ahead and fake it, right? So there's going to be some fakery going on here. So this is all like painting techniques, and it's pretty straightforward. Clone. So, sorry, and that was single, so I fucked that one up as well. Should have been all, but I can fix this easily by saying lifetime. Oh, it is all frames. Yeah, okay, that's good. Now I want to be all for this, which is clone. Establish an offset, scale my brush. I'm going to back off on opacity a little bit here. And again, I'm just going to kind of build up and kind of maybe focus on obliterating stuff that I know I don't want, that kind of really sells solid opacity of the crane.
So without replacing the tree with the other one, we're just fixing this one.
Yes, so let's just say this will happen. You're about to obliterate and just pull it all out, and the director comes by and is like, I love this dead tree. This tree sucks. The dead tree really says everything I want about my character, who's a dead superhero. So you must keep this. You're like, all right, now my job just got harder. All right, so let's just say it's that. Because I want you to kind of practice on this. So, and trust me, you're going to get those notes from the fucking director. And it's like, so yeah, we want to kind of break this up a little bit. But note that it's totally doable. Like you can totally align and bring texture across and really recreate this reality and make it totally viable. Yeah, so if I hit play right now, yeah, it's pulling all the same grain pattern, it's pulling all that texture, adjacent sides, and we're getting somewhere. And then you could just say like, okay, well, what if I pull some of this color and value and then just break it up, and then maybe take my opacity down to something much more subtle to start to break up this patterning. Yeah, you always want to be in full res if possible.
And it's easier.
Oh, you mean a higher res than this is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying it's easier to more than full res.
A full res.
Like right now, it's like the quality isn't that good. So it's easier.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I'm trying to clarify. That's what I was trying to ask you because one is that you could be working in a lower res, but yes, the resolution of this footage is 640 by 480, which is an old video format. So yes, the answer is typically, most stuff now is going to be 1920 by 1080, and that's a pretty good resolution to work at for image quality. That being said, you saw the District 9 prequel, you saw the YouTube stuff. I mean, people work with shitty footage and make really amazing visual effects out of really low res shit. And it's great because it feels so like verite, like, found footage. Like, I could believe that that's a ghost because, it's really shitty footage and they've done pretty good work with the quality of footage and play it to its strengths of what it can hide for you as well. But yeah, I mean, there's interesting challenges with this. We'll do a tracking exercise later in the semester where it's also a little bit lower res, and you're going to find that aliasing of the lower res is going to fight you a little bit, but it's all doable. Just a little bit, just different challenges. All right, so again, this is all just cloning technique from one side to the other, and then, magically, power of magic, and I don't feel that anymore. I don't really feel that there's a crane there anymore. It feels like that can be a plausible reality, that fine detail of the branch work. Yeah.
When I play, it shows the page short movie.
I just turned the overlay off. So if you see the paintbrush animating over it, you're like, that's annoying, just close it out. Or again, what's the overlay cue? For overlay off. So again, to see it in speed, just turn the overlay of the paint stroke off and it should be good. So yeah,
So you turn the rotor peak off or actually.
how do you, what are the major ways to hide the overlay of a paint stroke, for example? One, cue for overlay on and off, but not the most important one. Simply collapsing this. If I know I may need to paint more, I collapse it. Now my brush is not there. Brush on, brush off. If I'm done with it, put your toys away. Boom, goes away. Go away, or all things go away. But properly, right? Either close it out, collapse it, or cue for overlay. All right. One, it's 9 o'clock. One, last but not least, this car removal. Straight up could be a comp fix, easily, makes sense, right? But since we're painting, let's go ahead and do it as another reveal. All frames, yes. Go big or go home with your paint stroke. Go follow all the way through. Close to the feet, don't clip your superhero. But feather in that edge there. And now it looks like he's magically swinging down to hit and impact that car right on cue. And there you have a pretty good example of a wire woman. Now, again, the luxury of a clean plate, right? Time is money. It gets burned a lot on set, and you got really high stress motherfuckers shouting at you, right? So, the ability to get a clean plate, sometimes. You can ask, you can negotiate, don't expect it, right? So, I mean, they know that we're good for a reason, that, they're like, yeah, you can just fucking do it. You can just make it happen, right? But opportunity, if you can get it for sure, right? And if you're doing your own thing, for fuck's sake, sure, get it. Make it clean plate, right? All this literally, I'll be on set and get friendly with the camera department, and I'll be like mid-take. Can you you're good with that, right? Your B camera not rolling right now. Can you just give me a clean plate right over there, and I'll just ask for it, and they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I got you. it's no big sweat for them, right? You just build relationships with people on set, and they'll, you know, if it's no big deal, fuck yeah, man. You know? Yeah. It really goes back to the old school terminologies when of optical visual effects. So literally, I used to work at Pack Title, like right across the street. It used to be there. It's kind of called the Hollywood Production Center, or what, something like that. When I first came there, they had these things that were like, they looked like torture devices, and it was a roto stand from the optical days. So literally, they had animation pegs. So you would paint on acetate to cut a map, and I think the terminology of plate was that it would register onto those registration plates of metal, right? So these like an animation stand, and literally all the things would be down shooters. So you have a bipack camera that would be shooting multiple passes. So for example, if you were going to do basically a frame-by-frame articulate rotomask, you would cut it literally frame by frame, put it down on the plate, register it to the pins, click, shoot it. Take the new one, align it on the metal plate, click, shoot it. And it was a down shooter process for optical depositing. But that's like, you know, all those old Disney live action, like Journey to the Bottom of the Sea and all that, like really hard gnarly shit. You know, it was all, I think that's where the terminology plate came in visual effects, is that it usually actually would register with pin register down on a little like a metal plate or metal table for shooting purposes, right? So, and you would do like holdout mats, and then literally like it would double expose in the next negative. So it was like multiple, you know, you'd have the first pass, and you have a held out and not exposed, and then you go the opposite of that mat, and then you have a burn-in that would re-expose in the dark area to kind of do an A over B, all optical. And I think it's a holdover from that anachronism of it locking onto that plate where you're shooting purposes for optical compositing days. It's just jargon now. It's just like, you know, go shoot a plate. Yeah, it's like, why is it called a plate? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's from the optical days. But we call it plates. It's basically a shot, another element. You might hear it. Yes. A clean plate for what? No, I mean, so here's the next one. No, I mean, it's a totally a luxury. So, like, obviously, well, here's the one thing. Like, if it is a lock-off, just have your talent walk in and exit frame at the end of the take. And you got a clean plate. Pretty easy. This next one, though, no such luck. Wire 2. Same action. Different camera angle. Hey, that's action 101, right? We're shooting with 7 cameras. This looks familiar, right? Swinging, coming down here into action. Now, again, this is a longer shot. You guys need to peel off, cool. I'll do a rapid demo of this. If you guys want to try it, fantastic. I know I haven't even looked at your color yet. It's been a heavy day. We'll get into it tomorrow week, next week. Input, boom. But let me show you a couple quick, quote-unquote, tricks for this, or techniques. So one thing is the things that we already learned and talked about today. So same angle, right? 30 frames. All cloning techniques, consistent paint strokes to pull this out. Now you really have to get a sense of how the texture flows. It's hard, right? You need to really get a sense of how is this texture moving over time. It's challenging. You also need to say, like, I can do a consistent paint patch from 30 backwards. I can pull all this out up to this point. Then it has to be articulate all the way back for the reveal, right? Static in the front, static in the back, as much as you can, then frame by frame technique. What about this? What the hell's going on in the shadow? Any more work there? This giant harness knuckle is kind of blowing the gag, right? You got this like turnbuckle, and you got a drop down wire. That has to go. Check this out. This is the first thing I want to show you. What would be a cool technique to remove this? What might we do? What's that? You could track it. Well, that'll buy you movement, but you don't need to. Other guesses? What's that? Pull the background through. Yes. So it's going to be a reveal. It's going to be a reveal in time. So much like we just talked about. So check this out. So a reveal, because we have a clean plate. We literally have a clean plate. How? The fact that it's moving over time. So on frame 1, the occlusion, the shadow isn't at a location that it is on frame 30, right? It's a moving image. Because of the fact it's a moving image, I could do something like, go to frame 1, delta T, time offset, 8 frames in the future. Boom. What was onion skinning for? Previewing the offset. Oh look, my guy's over here. The turnbuckle's right here. I can pull through clean right there. I literally have a clean plate because an image moves through time, right? It's not always occluded, right? So this is how you ought to think in terms of rebuilding a paint fix, right? So 8 frames in the future, make a very tight paint stroke, bam, and then also Jedi blast shield down. You got to feel that wire that you can't see, right? You're like, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. You feel that little fucker in there, right? You can't see it. You got to just believe it's there, right? Jedi mind. So reach out with your feelings. Find that hidden wire, right? And you will see it. At speed, you'll feel it. You'll feel it like, oh, let me make an adjustment. Oh, there it is. Okay, so here, and I can't see it, but I know it's somewhere in here, and try and remove it. And look how awesome. I mean, it's literally, just think of it as like, what else can I pull from to make this fix happen?
You just did that by setting it at 8 in the middle.
Positive 8, and I'm doing a clone reveal. Single frame fixes. Obviously don't want it to be static and have the same problem from traveling through it. And 30 frames is a fair amount. So this would be a challenge. So I'm not going to kill you. But this is the only tricky technique. Everything else is all stuff that we just talked about and just persistence and trying to get good at it.
Some weird notes, you just took the same footage and dragged it to BG1, right?
So literally, BG1 is looking to the same footage in 8 frames in the future. And then you could have a BG2 that looks back 8 frames or further 10 frames or whatever. That's why you have like multiple inputs. And again, if you run out of inputs, just add another node and go at it. I've had things where I've got like 4 or 5 paint nodes where you're like, fix it to this level, okay, and then now I'll build on it and reveal from that next level, and it totally works. One last one here. Oh, a little bit off frame as it exits. Right there. Here. Here. There. Yeah, I mean, I don't know any what the senior paint people get, but I mean, like, if you focus on it, get good. There's just some shit that like no people off the street can do it. Like, it's just like, it's really hard to do really good stuff. It just takes like time and dedication. So they get compensated pretty decently. Because even with my experience, you get rusty over time. You're not doing it all the time, but okay. H to fit, spacebar. So pretty quick. A little bit of ghosting there, but you get the idea. There's a big buckle that's out. I see a very subtle ghosting in here that I got to chase. But that's the idea, right? So establish an offset, do a whole pass, and then go through it. So I can chase that, but you get the idea. Like a little bit, I see it right in there. And then I would just like chase it, and try to get rid of it. Okay, for the rest of it, it's all cloning. You can't reveal through too much. I mean, In this case, it doesn't, there's some waggle to the rope, but doesn't really get out of the way ever. There's some waggle to the crane, it never really gets out of the way ever. So we're talking in this regard, it's all about the clone, attack of the clones. So you really want to establish an offset that feels like it will hold up texturally to how the movement of the rest of the churning smoke is moving. And it'll take some build up. Got some different techniques. Now notice these are these are all. I want all. It's not single but all. Keep screwing this up by myself. Clone, bam, all. Hit a quick play. Oh yeah, see one is still going on here. Not single but all. There we go. Okay, so not great, but we'll need to add on to this and give some more texture here, but that's the idea. Here, one. Just for sure render out the first one we did, and then if you want to try this, paint it, render it, and we'll take a look at it next week. So getting better. I still see some ghosting of the wire. Again, you have to play back at speed to kind of test where you're at. So self-evaluate how good or bad it is, and keep hitting it. Okay, so that's getting plausible. Yeah, I can buy that as a crane fix. So now I'm left with this big rope here. Again, you're going to articulately have to chase it. And then the one thing I can tell you technique-wise that's going to save your ass is that consistency. Align something that you think is going to work and go through the entire range of it. Because like when I started, I'm like, I could Photoshop this shit. I'm pretty good at Photoshopping it. I'm a good, And like the guys are like, yeah, this is what you should do. I'm telling you now. Go through the entire thing and don't change your paint stroke. Like every time, don't advance a frame, change a new technique from a different angle, paint it, new frame, new angle. It's going to chatter. It's going to pulse. And I'm like, yeah, it's all good. And I'm working on another restoration thing for Clockwork Orange. Big, gnarly neg scratch through Malcolm McDowell's wicked face. Right? And I'm like, oh yeah, single frame here. That's no problem, man. Every frame was a masterpiece, man. I'm telling you. It's like, different angles, new things, go back to play it back at speed, and suddenly there's this wiggling worm through his fucking face. I'm like, fuck. Right? So I had to go back and redo the whole thing. Right? So keep consistent. Align it, go through the entire pass. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to see it and go, okay, now what if I come from a slightly different angle and go through the entire pass? And then through that consistency, it will get better and finally become less apparent. So, for an example, as a consistent paint patch, I would say it's going to be a clone. It's going to it's going to waggle, so I'm going to try and go as big as I can. And I'm going to change my opacity back to something more opaque. And give it some breathing room. And you're going to see it waggle in and out of angles. Let's see what I get there. So obviously it's too dark there. And there's a couple little dust things that I'm replicating up there. But that's not bad for this part. I need to feather and articulate an edge here. And again, I need to obviously frame by frame by frame, single frame paint, that which he's going across, obviously. So that would be kind of the technique. So yes, this is your homework. I'm not going to hold you. You guys are too late here. You guys got homework? Should I look at your homework? You guys want to take a look at your homework? You guys did it. Might as well take a look at it. All right, here. And we'll get out of here. Class S, student drop. M. Bam. Saturday. Articom. All right. Week 3. Avengers. All right. So what do we got here? We got PNG. Will all these load? Let's see.
Just right.
Microsoft Paint. No.
Just right click and open it with Windows Photo Viewer.
I thought okay. Yeah. We'll do all multiple formats as well. Like it will do PNGs and all.
Open up like one of them with Windows Photo Viewer. You should be able to just like arrow flip.
All right, I'm gonna do this and then what?
So you can like
Right click and force the thing what it opens with.
yeah, and just go to properties.
Properties.
At the bottom.
Always open with.
No, just for one of them. Just go for one of them, not all. One. Property. Then you can go change.
Change unknown. Open with
The last.
that guy.
Last one or can open the Photoshop. Whichever.
No, this would be better.
Okay,
Apply. Okay. How about this guy? Same thing. Properties. Change. There. Yeah. Apply. Okay. PNG. All right. So these all go together. Will this? If I just enter, will it all open? Yeah. There we go. There we go. The Avengers. All right. So can I advance forward and back? No.
Yeah, it's arrow to right.
Doesn't want to let me though. Arrow left, right.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so you got Avengers as what? The target, or just the Avengers? You got multiple grades of Godfather.
This one also I'll just put the original and the
So this is the original.
no, this is like color.
Okay.
This is the original. The last two are the original.
Cool. This one feels matrixy,
Yeah.
kind of green. I like it. You're lifting the eye shadows. This is great.
This is the original.
That's the original. And then you pushed it more super saturation. Kind of thing, right?
Even like how I wanted.
Okay. Okay. All right, cool. Very nice. Nice work. Oh, look, I got a stack of them. All right, cool. All right. Yes.
I'm still having that issue with C-Drive, so I just emailed you my homework.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no one came by either. I mean, we can hit them up.
Well, yeah, I emailed you just now.
Okay. Golden Dynasty, yeah. Now, why can't I advance the frames? This sucks. Easily. Nice. This is great. Filter tea time. I would blur your vignette a little bit more, so soften the vignette. Yeah, soften your vignette for sure. That looks pretty trippy, glowy, cool. Golden Dynasty, Red Sun, Tea Time Lavender. Very cool. Nice. Back up. Back up. Nice work, Dennis. Eli. Did we get something? No. Back here. Let's see what that Nope. Eric. In the original. Open. Nice image. So that's the original. That's the original. What's this image from? No idea. That's kind of cool and dark though. All right, so bam, a special mushroom. Nice. So it looks pretty cranked. Now you're starting to get the image is starting to break apart, but for creative purposes, you can push it down. Yeah, I mean I dig it. This one's called Copper and Dirt. Okay, cool. So let's see, from here to here. Yeah, it's nice. That's pretty wicked. Blood loss. Magenta. Ooh, I like that though. Look at that. Seasick. Actually, I like that a lot. That plays pretty nice with that image. That's cool. Nice. Dig it. So yeah, this is kind of fun. Like you can have these filters, you have these quote unquote LUTs you can buy, but you'd be surprised with once you get comfortable with Nuke's tool set, how far you can really push stuff. All right. Edit. So what am I looking at? Is that color corrected or? Yeah. Edit. All right. So there's no originals or just finals. Okay. So, did you lift your blacks here and colorize them on this particular one?
Yeah, like how I do like a fusion, make it a little more.
Okay.
Oh, I have the raws and filter is also there.
You can drop them in there. This one you warmed it up a little bit, I'm assuming, like a little bit more yellow, mid-tony. Yeah. Where's the shop? Do you know? Tokyo. Feels like Tokyo. Holland. It's tulips. So saturation bump on this. But like the slight vignette, that's more naturalistic. Dig it. All right, that's fine. You don't have to drop the originals. It looks good. All right. Erica James. Did we get a week 3 or 4-3? I get it. Here. That's pretty cool. So, did you roto this to achieve your mass? That's fantastic. And then did you hue shift to get the color of that blue?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like it. That's very nice. So that's the original. That's pretty different. I never see that. Like AOC. What's it stand for? Arctic Mouse. Double. There you go. AOC. Original. AOC sounds like a cool acronym. Her eyes are green. Oh, for here. What? Oh, her eyes were green. Okay, I got you. Yeah. So, what about this one? Was this a? What's that? Rotoing. Yeah. I mean, you can certainly key and Luma key. We're gonna get into some keying. I really dig the. What is this? I missed this one. Is this original?
No.
Wait, so... Oh, and then he rotoed and defocused, right? That's pretty dope. Look at that. Look, instant depth of field. Pretty killer. Nice work. I like it. Very nice, James. Some cool stuff. Josephine, 3. These 2?
Yeah.
Or one?
One of them was just a thing from class. The other one is
Yep.
one thing.
It's a lovely pink cloud. Come on.
I did a little mask out.
Okay, at least come up with a cool Instagram name. Like, come on, what do you got?
Orbit.
Cotton Candy Shuttle. Hello.
Oh my god.
Yes, OMG. Come on. Cotton Candy Shuttle is what it should be called. All right. Fucked up something here. Go. Julia. What do we got? What do we got here? Work. Enter. Go. What kind of files are these? No, well, one, the software doesn't want to tell me what it is. Are they EXRs or something else? Yeah, no extensions. They're JPEGs? Yeah, for some reason it doesn't. It's secretive in protecting what it wants to be. Did you force the extension on your render? Like, did you say .jpeg? You should force the extension. So, can you do that right now? Do you have it here? At home?
Yeah.
Pooh! All right, well, just try it for next time. We'll take a look at it and remind me. Whenever you're writing out to disk, so, right. Seems like extra work, but you'll just get used to it. So whatever the path, again, here at Gnomon, it's going to be Z. So let's just say I'm on Z. That's going to be, crow. And let's just say it's a single frame, .jpeg. Force the extension, JPG. It understands, not JOP, but JPEG. It can be lowercase, it can be other case. Look for it to do this. See how it hopped in there and said, oh, you must want these settings, right? If I said PNG, it's going to be, oh, you can do an 8-bit or a 16-bit PNG, right? So it's going to give you IFF, IFF. Not currently supported. It's so old it's not supported. JPEGs, DXR, DPXs. Anyways, just force the extension, should be good to go. Okay. Bam. Where am I at? Did I lose it? Poop. That was weird. All right. Class files, structure files, student drop. Saturday AOC, the new acronym. Okay. Where did I leave off? Here. Josephine, Julia. What do we got? Here, 3. Comic Pop,
Yeah.
Dystopia, Vintage, and the original. Why?
What?
Just did this.
They're all JPEGs.
So unfair. Change. Wait,
Set up right.
it's set up right.
It's the last one. Yeah, it is the last one.
Yeah, when you mix formats, it f's it up sometimes. Yeah. Change. Doesn't want to give me. Okay. That work. There we go. Oh, that looks gorgeous, man. Is it your filter?
Yeah, that's my filter. That's the vintage.
That's the original?
I think that's original. Yeah.
That was killer. So, in this case, you're probably pulling out a lot of saturation first and then pushing color back into it?
Pulling out saturation and then sort of color grading and crunching blacks and whites a little bit.
Dude, I'm in love with that. I could live in that world all day long, man. Look at that. That's like Wild West 101 sepia tone loveliness right there. That looks cool. There you go. And you take that boring old footage and make it that gorgeous. So it's pretty cool. Dig it. And I like how they. I like your level. Your black levels are kind of washed and tinted, and you push them in cool color. It's great. Is that it? Oh, and this one is Comic Pop.
Comic Pop, and the one in the middle between that vintage is the Dystopia one.
This is cool too. It's a nice image to play with. And then, okay, Dystopian. Yeah. I mean, dystopian, I'd probably push it more green or gnarly. But these are great, man. Those are cool, really cool. Dig it. Very nice. Let's see. So you guys have some fun with this. Some cool results. Oh, not here, right? No. No. Melody. 3 or 4? 3. EXRs. Photoshop. Or Nuke. Okay. And okay. Ugh. Okay, fine. Okay, good. All right, so Florida, yeah, nice. And then Cerulean. I missed one, right?
Yeah.
Cerulean, nice. I like the colorization of your shadows there. 1945. Get a little vignette. Okay, cool. And then one of these. Which one did I miss? Huron? I know. That's pretty much it. Hudson to Huron. I like it. It's like a knockoff version of it. Like, we don't have to pay your licensing fees anymore, but here's your exact same filter. All right, cool. So what about this for color? Did you...
I made it like more blue and more saturated.
All right, cool. Yeah, the one thing about Nuke is like that super soft shot. I always even blur it even more just to get that one little ringing edge there out. But these are nice. Cool. All right. Let's see. Close these guys out. Hoorah. So bam, bam. Omar. 3. Sci-fi Wasabi. Nice. That could be the go-to. Oh, a.k.a. Neil deGrasse licensed to what? Kill Bill Volume 4. That's pretty awesome. That could be the most creative term ever. All right, here. All right, so now are there befores and afters, or is this the final?
The final.
The images are good choices. I'd love to see where you're taking them from, or to. This one I feel cool. Saving Private Ryan, yeah, I like that look. Saving Private Potato. Okay.
Saving Private Skyrim.
Nice. Now, what is? I wish I knew what the beginning looks like. So, I'm assuming you added green because it's called wasabi, or no?
I was adding blue, and the background horizon, you see the red and the little bluish.
Yeah.
Kind of just made that more contrasting.
Okay. And then what about this one?
It wasn't that yellow before.
So it's just warming up the yellows.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. All right, we're almost done. Sorry, we're going long. All right, Tim. Is it gonna be awesome? One image of glory. All right. Yeah, now we're talking. I think I need to play the music to check this fucker out. Fucking destroy the computers all night long. Endless love. Look at that. The inner eye is projecting, dude. You fucking nailed that lens flare. Oh, that's cool. So, all right. So this one here, you cooled off. This is the original, I'm assuming?
No, that one's got a multiply and add and a glint.
Is it? Okay. A little bit of glint on it. Okay.
I wanted it to look like the Thriller album.
Gotcha.
That album cover.
Yeah. Well, you can't beat that rocket red Michael Jackson jacket he had. All right, these are great. Nice work. So you cool with this? You get your head around it. You're all good with it?
Yeah.
All right. Good.
I wanted to do like 80s portrait with like the fading face, but now that you showed us with reveal, I'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally. What would you do? You would just literally do a roto shape and make that the new alpha channel. Pre-molt the result. Big soft feathered edge. And you can totally do like your 80s portrait soft split.
That's gonna take all night.
Gonna take all night.
Yeah.
He went there, dad joke. That's my range, man. Come on. All right, so these two. Whoa. So here's what happens when you bring if you don't reformat at the edge. That's other, in Nuke it's probably fine, but other applications go, what is this, right? So if you don't like crop at the final and reformat, and so there's options within Nuke that says black outside, basically because the last pixel gets replicated in that weird, interstellar fourth dimensional way. So just be aware of that. Bam. No Instagram fun?
Oh, I didn't do the homework.
Oh, no homework? Okay. Well, make some cool creative color as the homework. All right, cool. So nothing. No homework. No color?
I did in class, but I didn't say.
Oh, the Instagram color ones? Okay. For the homework we had come up with three or different color themes, either Instagram filters and or movies of your favorite choice. So just colorizing images or plates. All right, cool. That's it. Let's get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you next week. Next week is tracking, all things tracking. It's going to be another heavier one. They won't all be this heavy, but 3 different types of tracking. Stabilization tracking and 4-point matchmaking. All right, have a good week.
Was this yours? Huh? Okay, I don't know.
Is the ball around somewhere?
I don't know.
Pretty good at losing. Are you ready to go?